All right, we're back to chapter 8. We're looking at structures. This is a new concept we haven't looked at before. And basically, structures, you can group several different variables together into a single item known as a structure. It allows you to create custom data types for your program. So basically, you're creating your own data type rather than having a predefined data type that we've been using. This allows us to create our own. And each variable in a structure is known as a field. So a new term here called a field. And fields in a structure can be of different data types. So we can have a variety of different data types inside the structure and for each of those fields. Now, the generic form or the way of declaring or setting up a structure in C# is by using a reserved word here called struct. And then give it a structure name. And we use a proper Pascal case here to do that. And then we declare all of our fields that we are trying to set up. Now, where's the structure, or where do you place this structure? Where do you declare the structure? And the constructor can be placed in multiple locations, inside the application's namespace itself, or inside the application's namespace, inside or outside, inside a class, or inside another structure itself. It really depends on the scope of where you want to be able to access that. So look at where you're going to need this structure and then define it in the most efficient place possible. So we'll look at a couple examples of this here in a moment. All right, so sometimes you have a situation where you've got a collection of different data types that all kind of fit together nicely inside of in a theme, I guess. So the example that they give us here is a used car dealership, and when in that application there might be a case where we're trying to keep track of multiple cars, and a car, we want to keep track of the information. So we want to keep track of the car's maybe make, what the year is, what the mileage, and so on. And of course, these are different data types themselves. So what we can do with that is we can put that inside of our own structure by declaring or struct and then automobile. So automobile becomes the name of this particular structure. And the structure includes, in this case, 3 fields. And we're going to declare a field, and this field is declared as a public because it's going to be publicly available to all the instances that are created from the struct automobile. So we've got public, and we've got a string make, and then the year and the mileage. So we've got 3 different types, and we're declaring them as publics, all inside of this structure that we're going to create. So this is creating the structure or the framework by which we're going to create an instance of an object for automobile. So over here, later, if we want to create an instance of a car, an automobile, we can declare it as like a new instance of an object. So we're going to actually utilize this new structure here called automobile. So we say automobile, that's the name. It's kind of like a class if you think about what we've had other examples already to this point. So automobile, it will create in the memory, in the stack, a variable name called sports car. And we're going to tether that up here up onto the heap. So it's a reference type and create a new instance of this object called automobiles. And sports car is now going to inherit these 3 fields called make, model, and mileage. So what we can do with that now is we can utilize these fields to hold on to information. And again, we could go in and create multiple instances of these of this structure. Instead of an automobile, we can create an instance here, automobiles for a sports car, or we could create an instance for a minivan or a pickup truck or any kind of vehicle that this car dealership might need to store. So here's a sample of how that might look. So once we've created an instance of an object here called sports car, and we're using the structure here automobile, we know that there's a field in there called make. So what we can do is we can assign, let's say, the name of the make to that particular field. And we could do the year, and we could do the mileage. So this allows us to encapsulate a lot of information into one variable here by creating a structure. And we can retrieve the values by simply putting the information. For example here, this would just output what the car is, a Ford Mustang, for example.